What's up, guys? It's Coach Grant with First Down Training, and today we're going to be breaking down a wide receiver reading coverages quiz. So we're going to be taking you through 3 specific clips right here, and I'm going to pause the clip. You guys can think about the clip, and I'm going to ask you guys what kind of coverage you think it is. You're going to have a situation where you guys can think about, okay, it's this specific coverage. What does that mean to me? How can I identify this coverage? And then I'm going to explain the clip, okay? So like we've done in the past, we've done a couple videos like this. I'm going to say, okay, you guys should pause the clip, think about what kind of coverage it is, and then I'll go into the explanation and explain it to teach you guys what the coverage is and what you guys should be looking for. So I hope this video helps you guys out. Hope it gives you some value. Let's get started. So first clip right here, we're looking at Trevon Diggs. So I'm not going to give you guys a specific route. I just want you guys to try to identify the coverage. So now's the time to pause the clip on this specific coverage. What kind of coverage do you think it is? So pause the clip, think about it, maybe write it down, and then we'll get into an explanation. All right, so now I'm going to explain this thing from a receiver perspective, right? So as a wide receiver, we don't need to worry about as much as the quarterback needs to worry about when it comes to reading coverages, but I should have a good idea of the secondary, especially if I'm an outside receiver. If you're a slot, you should have a pretty much good idea of everything as a whole. The safeties, the linebackers, the corner, maybe not so much the corners, but you got to be able to know the box if you're out of the slot, and we're going to get to that. But if you're on the outside, you got to know the secondary. So anytime that I have a DB with these kind of eyes looking at the quarterback, what does that usually dictate to me? Usually dictates that it's zone coverage. So if you guys are maybe a beginner at reading coverages and you say, oh, okay, that looks like zone, that would be correct. But now if you're maybe more advanced, you got to be able to know what kind of coverage this specifically is, right? So if that DB's outside shade and he's pressed up and his eyes are to the inside, that looks a lot like cover 2, right? And this ends up being cover 2. I'm going to play this clip full speed so you guys can see the technique of it. Then we're going to keep talking about it. So Diggs does a great job of forcing this wide receiver to the inside, sitting underneath at the flat, and then obviously making a play on this corner route like this, like box corner that you like to run right here, inside stem corner. So now let's talk about it, right? So how we know this pre-snap, he's outside shade because he's trying to force me where? We know this from man coverage from studying this. He's trying to force me to the inside, right? His whole entire goal is to force me to take the inside release, not give up the outside release. So I have to go back up vertical, and he has a safety right there. Because remember, cover 2, there's 2 high safeties. The safeties are responsible for that deep half. The corners are responsible for the flat. So he does not want to give up the outside release because there's a gap between where the free safety or the strong safety, where the safety is going to play and where the corner is going to play. There's an opening here. So he's trying to force me to the inside so that safety has an easier time to make a play on me. So pre-snap, if you see this guy that's outside shade, eyes are to the inside looking at the quarterback, and then you see that there's 2 high safeties, I should be thinking, okay, this is probably cover 2. I know what that means. That means that I'm going to have to take the inside release. I'm going to square back up vertical, and I'm probably going to be man up with that safety that's over the top of me, okay? So that all can be dictated based on how this corner is playing. Eyes in the backfield, squatted stance, outside leverage. Okay, chances are this is probably cover 2, and especially if he lets me go at a certain point, like if I have a threat to the flat and he comes off of me and sits to the flat, that's how you know for a fact throughout the route, okay? So let's watch the thing again full speed. That's how you guys can identify cover 2. So if you guys said cover 2 or zone coverage type concept, you were 100% correct on this play. All right, before we get into this second clip, fellas, of the zone coverage look for Tyreek Hill, we're going to talk to you about a great opportunity that we are having this offseason. We are traveling out to 8 different cities for a 2-day long quarterback, wide receiver, and DB training camp. So we're going to be coming out to Houston, Texas, Phoenix, Arizona, Newark, New Jersey, Atlanta, Georgia, Chicago, Illinois, Dallas, Texas, Nashville, Tennessee, and Los Angeles, California. So if you guys are local to one of those 8 cities and you guys want to come out and get some great work in with us for 2 whole days, check out that very first link in the description below. Spots are going to be limited, fellas, to only 10 to 12 guys per position group, per age group. The reason why we're doing that, the reason why we're not taking 100 different kids out there is because we actually want to take the time to coach you guys. We actually want to take the time to develop you guys. When you guys do something wrong, we're actually going to coach you. We're not just going to run you through drills. We're not just going to say, hey, good ball, good rep, do this next time maybe. No, we're actually going to show you how to do it, how to improve it, and what you guys should be doing to improve those bad habits you have. So check out that very first link in the description below. Like I said, spots are limited, but if you're local to one of those cities or want to travel out, we'd love to have you out to one of our camps. Let's get back to this video. So now we're looking at this concept here from Tyreek Hill, right? So you guys can pause the clip. Think about what kind of coverage this might be, right? What kind of coverage this might be. There's a couple different things that it could be right here. So you guys can go ahead and pause the clip. All right, and now I'm going to get into breaking this thing down. So again, like we were talking about in the last clip, right? Eyes are in the backfield. So obviously, what does that mean? Means that it's zone. Now, why does that mean that it's zone? We didn't really talk about that in the last clip. It means that it's zone because nobody plays man coverage with their eyes looking at the quarterback. You're not supposed to. There was a coach that back when I was in high school said the quarterback's like Medusa for the DBs when they're in man coverage. You don't want to look at the quarterback, right? You do not want to stare at the quarterback. You want to have your eyes on that defender. That's how we know that it's man. right? But his eyes are in the backfield. Now, how close is he, right? He's about maybe almost like 4 yards off. So how was Trayvon Diggs playing cover 2 before, right? He was outside shade and he was about 4 yards off. Eyes were in the backfield, right? So could this be cover 2? Now, if you thought that this was cover 2, you're wrong. It is not cover 2 because he is not outside leverage, right? He is a head up a little bit, maybe tilted to the inside. So what it looks like he's going to do is it looks like he's going to bail, right? So anytime that it's bail, you know that it could be a zone coverage like cover 3, cover 4. And again, especially a guy like Tyreek Hill, they're trying to keep everything in front of him. So cover 3, cover 4, any kind of straight zone coverage concept, that DB's trying to keep everything in front of him. He's trying to not get beat deep, obviously because Tyreek Hill is a deep threat. Do I agree with this coverage on the 15-yard line or like the 12-yard line? Probably not, but I mean, listen, it's Tyreek Hill, fast dude, not going to win a whole lot of man coverage battles with this guy. So let's watch it full speed. So what does he end up doing out of there? He ends up bailing like it's cover 3 or cover 4, and then we are able to run this great slant out route here from Tyreek Hill, but that's what that means. When you see him with the eyes in the backfield and he's maybe inside shade, head up, chances are he's not playing cover 2 because he's inside shade. He's not going to let you run to the outside because in cover 2, there's a gap there between the corner and the safety. So chances are it's probably like cover 4. He's okay with you maybe going to the outside because that's like his zone. He's trying to force you out there. That's why he's inside shade, head up in the first place, okay? So that's how we're able to recognize that coverage. I'm going to play full speed one more time, and then we'll get into this last clip. Great route there by Tyreek Hill. Great job beating that zone coverage defense, and especially, fellas, how you can identify that as well. Number of safeties, how the safeties are playing, but mainly that corner, okay? So now, we're going to look at this like we're out of the slot right here with a number 2 receiver like Davante Adams. So I'm going to pause this clip. We look at this. You guys can look at the whole coverage to kind of dictate what it is, but mainly we are focused right here. So what kind of coverage do you think this is? I'm going to pause the clip, or you guys can pause the clip. And now we'll get into a breakdown of this, okay? So now, main thing is, where are his eyes? That's the first thing that we got to always be looking at, right? So his eyes are on me. And again, this is like a pre-snap look. Like receivers are always taught what? Taught to watch the ball, right? So you got to look at the ball. You got to watch the ball. You got to watch the ball be snapped. But when you go, before you look at the ball, you have to identify the DB's coverage, right? So we see that his eyes are on me. I see that he's looking at me. What is that you think that means? That means it's man coverage. So if you guys said off man coverage, you would be 100% correct in this situation. This is not a zone coverage concept. And how you can tell is we're in trips right here. I see that this guy's giving the same coverage here. This guy's giving the same coverage here. We got 3 guys all manned up with man eyes on these 3 wide receivers. Okay, it's man coverage. So why is that important? What does that mean to you? So if you have to run a route, you know that the man coverage principles apply. You know that you have to close the space. You know that he's watching your hips. So maybe you throwing a crossover move, maybe you changing tempo on a route will get you separation with this guy. So I'll play at full speed. So you watch, he kind of hesitates. He gives him that shake because it's man coverage principles. He knows that there's nobody back here. He knows he's playing him man to man, 7 yards off. Let's attack his leverage if I have to. Let's attack his outside shoulder if I have to. Let's close the distance with him if I have to. But those same principles apply that we all love to talk about. So I'm going to play this thing again, full speed one more time. Great job identifying that it's off man coverage, how we can do that. He's in a squatted stance. He's not with skinny feet like he's going to backpedal. Eyes are on me, watching my hips. And again, that's how we identify that it's off man. He's off, right? He's off, almost 8 to 10 yards off. Let's watch it full speed. Great job coming at him, changing the tempo, throwing his hips into the break, and then getting that separation on that slot fade route. All right, guys, we want to thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. If you guys have liked this format of these last couple videos that we've done, please don't hesitate to leave any feedback in the comments, maybe another quiz that you guys would like to see. Always appreciate the feedback, and it's always great to hear from you guys. So I hope these video types help you out. And again, fellas, if you guys are local in one of those 8 cities that we are traveling to this offseason, we got back from Tampa, Florida this week. That was a great turnout. If you guys went to that camp, we really appreciate you coming out. We had a great time out there in Tampa, and we're excited to come out to Houston in February, Phoenix in February, Newark in March, and then we're going to Atlanta, Chicago, Dallas, Nashville, and Los Angeles. So if you guys are local to those areas or want to travel out, get some work in with myself and my staff of former D1 guys, NFL players, check out that very first link in the description below. We would love to have you out to one of our camps. I'll see you guys next time.